Hey guys, Dash here from Curse with an easy to digest guide on the basics of power in Fallout 4 to help you set up your settlement. When you play the game and you progress, you're given the option to set up power, and basically you have to set up a generator which costs materials and produces 3 power, which is the cornerstone of everything, whether big, small, wind power, however much power it produces, and obviously producing said power absolutely is the cornerstone of setting yourself up. And then you have to use copper wiring, so copper is important, which hooks up to a recruitment radio beacon to basically let settlers around know that you're here, and they will slowly start to trickle into your settlement. But what if you want to do things like set up power for your settlement and set up, say, basic lighting, which is a great place to start. So you've got yourself a light, you just need the materials, and you can place it anywhere. Now, you've got a light, but it's not powering, but you've got a power source next to it. You obviously have to throw down a nice copper wire between the power and what you want to power. And obviously it's requires one for how much power it needs to actually light up. So what if we wanted to go one step further and we wanted to power the light across here? Well, the problem is it's probably a little bit far. So what you want to do is actually go to connectors and switches and find yourself a handy little connector. Now what this connector will do is be the bridge between copper wiring and the actual thing that you want to power in the power source. You have to line of sight wherever you want to set up. So basically, if I click this, there we go. Now we're hooking up the connector, and one more step, we hook up the light. Now that's pretty handy, but what if you said, hey, I like this light, but I don't want it on 24/7, which is absolutely doable. Now, the way to do that is actually by connecting a light or a pylon with a switch. So let's find a pylon with a switch here, beautiful. And before I do that, I should get rid of the other pylon. So we'll put it in the same place. Again, you can place it anywhere that you want, as long as it's not inside, because wires can't go through walls, which is also very important. And I'll help you get around that too. So now we're hooked up a pylon, we're hooked up a light, and then, no, we don't want to do that. And then we want to test it out. So let's try this. Hit switch, off, on. Now, there's something else that should be noted about the pylon itself. Physically, some things need to be wired to be powered, like say these lights that are on stands outside. Some lights, however, do not. And the reason being is because it wouldn't make much sense if you wanted to put a light inside and you need to connect it with a wire. It just doesn't work. So here's a great example, an industrial wall light. If I place this outside, theoretically, it should light up. Okay, it hasn't lit up. This is probably because the pylon's not close enough. Let's try and move this a little bit closer. See that? See how it's lit up? This has a radius of power that's generating as well. So let's say I wanted to hook up lighting inside the house, but it's not as close as this pylon because that's actually it has to be physically very close. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw a light up here, and we've got something up called a power conduit. Now I can scrap this one and show you how to throw them down. We're going to go connectors and switches and power conduit. Now this is going to connect between a pylons or the generator itself. Basically, the rule is power source, connectivity, something to connect to. Obviously, these pylons let you travel further, and then following the rule of how much power you need output. So let's connect a wire straight to the conduit, and voila. Now this is actually lit up. If I press escape and go into turn off the switch, it's going to turn everything off, which is very handy as well. You can put in multiple switches, doesn't matter how much. Now notice that my disco ball here that I've set up, and I'm quite proud of, has actually been powered as well because the radius is so much greater. So we've got a disco ball. It doesn't stop there. This light here, that's powered up. This television absolutely has powered up as well. You can activate or deactivate it. So now everything in the vicinity here has lit up except for this light over here. We've got a rogue light, and so following the rules that I've just outlined about power and connectivity, that means, and I've set this up before, is that the power pylons are traveling across here. Now we want this light set up. We would just basically not pick up melons, throw a power pylon, down, connect it up, Here's the thing though, because this pylon is physically close enough to this light, you don't need that conduit to light it up. Things further out are obviously not going to light, but this is a great handy guide just to get your house all set up. And obviously now you get the basics, you can have bigger power, bigger pylons, and really start to flesh out what you can build. And obviously I think the television should have sparked your interest, because there's things like, say, terminals which you can set up. I mean, it gets more advanced, and there's repeaters. It's a lot like Minecraft with redstone really, except with real electricity. So that's it for my handy tips and tricks on how to set up power in your settlement in Fallout 4. If you've got any other tips and tricks, by all means, let me know in the comments below. And I'd love to see what you guys come up with, because there's going to be some insane builds going on in, I don't know, the coming weeks. Thanks for watching, and as always, enjoy the game.